Here we go then for the US block. 2 more places up for grabs in the World Finals, and in around 12 laps time we'll know who's going to go through. On pole position is going to be Andrew McCabe. Of course, we saw him in Salzburg. Eddie Gomez is going to be starting in 2nd place, ranked 22nd, so this is a very good performance from him. In 3rd place, it's going to be Nick McMillan, one of the highest ranked drivers in this region. Then we have Anthony Felix starting in 4th place. 5th place, Ahmed Aga Khan starting in 6th place. It'll then be Tristan Bayliss. On 7th place, you may know him as Z28, it is Jay Skaruda. Starting in 8th place will be Richard Castro, and then in 9th place we have Daniel Solis in the Alfa Romeo, and at the back of the field tends to be a fast starter. Watch out for Kevin Pounder in that Mercedes-Benz AMG. We are racing in the Group 3 cars, of course, at Dragon Trail. We have 12 laps ahead of us. We have to use the hard, medium and the soft tyre. One driver starting on the soft tyre, Jimmy. That is Bayliss down in 6th place.
Yeah, he's going to be the only driver on the soft tyre. Very interesting strategy call from him. Our top 3 drivers, McCabe, Gomez and McMillan, all opting for the medium tyre, so maybe looking for a fast finish on the soft and then using the hard tyre through the medium phase of the race. So right now, the AI just warming the tyres for our competitors. They will gain control when the countdown is over, once we get round this last corner and approach the start-finish line. Of course, Dragon Trail, home of the infamous chicane of death, we've dubbed it. End of a lap, 1 car through there at a time, extremely fast, very easy to make mistakes. So just coming up to the start-finish line now. Great scenery in the background here at Dragon Trail. McCabe will lead us off in the Toyota FGT. Wait for the countdown. 3, 2, 1, and away we are then for the US block finals. McCabe leads us away from Gomez, from McMillan, from Felix. So it's 4 cars and then 5 cars coming now down to the first chicane. McCabe with an okay start, but Gomez now Alexis, very fast starter, looks to the inside straight away for the first chicane and takes the lead from McCabe in the first corner. Great start there from Gomez. McMillan looking for a bit of the action as well in the Beetle, and Felix there managing to hold back Akakan in 5th position, with Bayliss on that soft tyre in 6th. He needs to start making progress very quickly if he wants to use the full extent of that soft tyre.
Well, Eddie Gomez, who've gone in as an A-plus driver, leading the way at the moment from McCabe. It's a very closely bunched field at the moment. No one running into any kind of problems through the first few corners, which is great to see. We have all 3 compound of tyres being used by 10 drivers here on the first lap of 12. The top 3 particularly close together here. Gomez having to defend from McCabe. Here comes McMillan. He may look to the inside with McCabe looking to the outside of Gomez, and McCabe's going to try and be brave as the 2 of them worry about each other a little bit too much. Look at McMillan coming down to the inside. Jimmy, I think you've
chicane, Chris. Only 1 car at a time for here. They almost go in too wide, not recommended. Gomez comes out ahead of McCabe. McMillan there trying to make the most of McCabe having to slow down. Sparks flying from the walls. The guys get a little bit too close, which allows Felix to come back into the fray as well. What a first lap. McCabe have to defend from McMillan, who dives to the inside. The Beetle, he's going to have the inside line, but he's going to have to go really tight round this right hand. It might slow him up on exit. McCabe takes a long line round, but what a move by McMillan, up into 2nd position.
That was a perfect move from McMillan. Brilliant driving. He's now going to have to go after Gomez, who's inherited about a 3.5-tenth lead, but that is coming down with McMillan in the tow, who's having to deal with McCabe. Anthony Felix is being brought into this fight here. We are almost 3 wide there going into the first corner. McMillan may get the run on Gomez on the exit here, who went back defensive. Yes, and McMillan using that cutback to draw alongside then as we come up towards the right-hander. McMillan will have track advantage. Well, indeed, he tucks back in to 2nd in the end. How many drivers do we have involved in this battle for the lead? I think 6th, and at the back of this battle, 7, yes, with Bayliss in the middle of this. He is on the soft tyres back there in 6th place, so watch out for him in the early laps.
Bayliss, unfortunately, not making the progress he really needs to make on that soft tyre, so it's effectively wasted the use of the faster tyre compound. Still there though, still in the scrap for now. Race definitely far from over. Here come our top 3 drivers coming now down the hill. Great overtaking spot this as McCabe goes to the inside. Gomez has to go defensive on the inside. McMillan looks to the outside. The Beetle not really in place to overtake there. Now McCabe looking back up the inside of McMillan again, coming up to this chicane. Not quite close enough to try and get alongside there. through we go one more time. Such a great part of the track this. Very easy to get things wrong. And again, look at the drive. Look how close they are to the wall through there. Fantastic driving.
What a brilliant section that is. Now, Jace Garuda made a mistake through the first sector there, and he's dropped off the back of Bayliss. So it's now 6 for the lead once again. In third place, defensive driving going on from McCabe here, who's under a lot of pressure. Anthony Felix hasn't been able to make any progress yet in 4th place, and he runs wide out of the final corner. So he's going to be under pressure now from both Aga Khan and Bayliss as well as we head down the start-finish straight. Bayliss not having a good run of things at the moment. He should be moving his way through this lead pack quite easily, and I think we might see a change of lead out front. McMillan looking to the outside. Can he get the switch back as they come out of this first chicane? He can't, so Gomez it is who retains the lead for the time being. Very close race. This the closest race we've had of all 3 so far.
Yeah, very expensive moving traffic jam at the moment behind Gomez in that Lexus. McMillan looking very fast in the Beetle, but can't quite find a way past our A-plus driver. We have to really reiterate how impressive it is that Gomez is firstly here at all as an A-plus driver, and secondly is leading at the moment the US block final. What a performance from him so far, but the race is far from over. McMillan likes to have a look at down the hill here, has a great run coming off the left-hander. Gomez goes defensive on the inside, then cuts across, really giving McMillan nowhere to go. Let's see how good McMillan is in the break. Goes up the inside, dives up the inside of Gomez and takes the lead. That's our GT Academy winner right there, showing just why he got to the end of that competition. And McCabe, though, in the background, still looking for any pieces to pick up in case there's a mistake a bit further at the field. What a great camera angle that is of Felix, leaving a bit of a Corvette paint job there behind.
Bayliss.
McCabe. McMillan in the wall, sorry.
Someone running into the wall. That was McMillan indeed. So 4 for the lead now as they head down towards the right-hander. Gomez is defending. McMillan looking to the outside. McCabe there also trying to go with him. Then we have Felix still sitting there in 4th. He's got the best seat in the house for this battle at the moment. And we've got someone into the pits. That's Bayliss, I believe, on the soft tyres.
So of course, during that instant there with McMillan hitting the wall, Gomez was given the position back into first place. Now we have 4 cars all within half a second right now. McCabe looks to the outside again. He likes looking there, but can't really get past there. Felix in the background just waiting really for a slot to open up to pop through in that Corvette. But Gomez again back where we were last time, ahead of McMillan. McCabe third, but under lots of pressure there from the Corvette C7 driver. Looks to the inside, not really a space to pass. A very fast right-hander. Now we come back uphill before plunging downhill into, yes, this great elevation change in the circuit.
Gomez running wide there, and that's going to slow his momentum down, and McMillan closes back in once again. So here we are, 5 for the lead. Aga Khan, as you've just pointed out, Jimmy, has rejoined the back of this battle with Bayliss, of course, into the pits from 6th place. So very close this for the lead. How much do we have between the top 5? It's got to be less than a second. Brilliant stuff here. Of course, one of these on the hard tyres is Anthony Felix. So that is why he's not really been making progress. As to the outside, McCabe up to the outside of McMillan. Anthony Felix still sitting there on those hard tyres. Here we go, and McCabe's going to go into. He's going to lose 2nd place there. McMillan, of course, taking that place. McCabe in 3rd. Then it is Felix who's now under severe pressure from Aga Khan.
That was really a matter of who's going to blink first. It was actually McCabe in the end. I think he valued his life going through there side by side, for that chicane never ends well. Now I'm wondering when we're going to see the first pit stops from these guys, and I'll answer right away. 3 of our drivers, 4 of our drivers come in. Felix is the only driver to stay out on that hard compound tyre, and now it becomes a pit stop battle. How's everyone going on tyres? Everyone going to the hard tyre. Looks like it's going to be a fast finish on the soft for our lead pack.
Yeah, I think Anthony Felix has played a very good strategy so far here. He's gone on those hard tyres. He's kept in the lead battle. He's now been released out front. Here is Jace Garuda in 2nd place. Then we have Ryan Castro, who is 3rd. Daniel Solis is 4th. Gomez comes out. He is the lead driver, of course, of those who've stopped. And contact! Bayliss down the inside of McMillan. Contact. I think Bayliss, McCabe, was looking to the outside of the pair of them. Aga Khan might pick up a place now. Aga Khan to the inside of Bayliss, and he's going to go into 8th place. And no surprise, instant involved. Aga Khan off.
Big way. He's on the gravel. He's going to lose a ton of time there. He just got shoveled off the doors in the background, possibly by McCabe. We didn't quite catch it on our end though, but we just saw him shoot off into the gravel in the background. That's going to be pretty much now his final over, unless he can find a bit of time. He now has about 3 seconds to make up before coming back into the. Actually, repetition for saying that. We still have 4 people left to pit the front. So
Here's a replay.
see what happens, shall we?
Yeah, let's have a look then. That was Bayliss on McMillan. Yeah, that was just far too optimistic, wasn't it? And then that was a little bit of a shove for McCabe, and then whatever followed saw Agagar go into the barriers, essentially. Right, here we are, side by side once again. Bayliss on McMillan. Bayliss, who started on the soft tyres. Again, that's a move that people have been tempted to make down the inside into the chicane and then just backed out of it in the end sensibly. So this McMillan, Bayliss and McCabe, fierce fight going on at the moment. Ahead of this is Gomez in 5th place, who could be our essential leader once pit stops are made ahead. And indeed, we have Felix and Skaruda and Solus into the pits.
Castro, the only driver to stay out, and I must say at this point
Bayliss
he's going to be suffering. Yeah, Bayliss in as well, so getting off that hard tyre. So he was just doing one lap on the hard tyre, then coming back out in the medium and using that for the rest of the race. So maybe the hard tyre around here really is not the tyre to be on. So Felix and McMillan right now vying for position. Here comes McCabe. He comes past Felix there into the chicane, getting that done very quickly. He needed to do that, McCabe, because his main rivals are ahead of him right now.
Yeah, Felix almost rejoined at a very bad spot for McMillan and McCabe, but in the end he is just slotted into that 5th place position. Out front, Castro yet to come in, so essentially Gomez is leading, McMillan 2nd, McCabe 3rd, Felix 4th. Those positions will update themselves once we see Castro come in a little bit further up the road. Now Pounder has gone onto the soft tyre in 7th place, so Kevin Pounder, who was mostly at the back of the field throughout that first stint, has gone to softs.
Now he's got a little bit of a space in front of him to try and use that tyre and try and gain a bit of time. We'll see how that pans out for him. Meanwhile, we're on board with Felix. You can see how the track just falls away from you downhill here. McCabe goes very deep on the brakes compared to McMillan. McMillan goes for the later apex, it seems. McCabe with a more aggressive entrance to the apex. Now, great view here through the chicane. Look at that wall on the right. Here it comes. Whoa! There are the sparks. What a view that is. Just shows you how on edge these drivers are through that part of a circuit. I've tried going through their speed before, Chris, and I, for lack of a better term, I pinball.
There we go. McCabe and Felix both looking to the outside there of McMillan as they come onto the start-finish straight. As we expected, Castro in, and I think was that Felix looking to the inside of McCabe? It was. Let's see, he's having to pull back into the toe. Castro has gone onto the medium tyres, just to let you know, and here comes a challenge for 2nd from McCabe on McMillan, and he's through. Brilliant stuff, but he's still going to have to be on the outside of McMillan through the chicane. Felix might be able to take 3rd on the exit, and they're going to be 3 wide briefly, but out of all of it, we have a change for 2nd.
Of course, bear in mind...
Felix almost in the 3rd there.
Almost did. Bear in mind, of course, the top 3 drivers still have the soft tyre to come. So they're on the hard tyre right now. That's how Felix, I think, is staying with them at the moment. Skaruda there in the background also opting to go for the medium tyre, so he wants the soft tyre at the end as well. That'll be really interesting once that starts. Now, I think we won't see many more laps from these guys on the harder or the medium compound. Seems to soft go quite a way around here.
I just want to point out, Agagar has pulled back Solus in, and he's only 3/10 back now from what was a few seconds. So that's a good driving that from Agagar, and we'll monitor that over the next few laps. McMillan having just a little look at the inside, but that has cost him on exit. Felix closing in. Now closing in this is Skaruda on the medium tyres, so he's in the background. A great shot this from the back of McCabe. We can see McMillan and Felix. Skaruda is getting a lot closer, isn't he? He's getting involved in a battle for what could be a place into the World Finals.
Look at this again, the car snaking down to the final hairpin. Felix lunges to the inside of McMillan and McCabe, and there is contact between the 2 drivers. McCabe is forced by, I think Felix got a little bit too enthusiastic on the braking zone there and actually lost out a tiny bit. McCabe actually the real victim, and he's no, he's letting back past him. So good to see that there. A bit of a gentleman racing, we call that. But now 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, that has allowed Skaruda to get back into the fray again. Of course, you know him as Z28. Fun fact about him, he used to be a competitive fighting game player before coming over to racing. I've not met someone who's done that before, so that's definitely unique.
Well, I think that means he's not going to be taking any prisoners once he catches this fight ahead of him. So Jay Skaruda, watch out for some very quick moves once he gets involved in this. Qualified quickest overall for the repechage, so should he go into the repechage, he'll be right at the front of the grid, Jay Skaruda, but that certainly, he won't want to have to take that situation on. He'll want to go through if he can, and no surprise to see Felix under investigation.
by far been our closest race so far. We still have about 4.5 laps of it left, and we come back downhill again towards the heavy braking. So you have to brake earlier than you think down here because gravity is working against you. Okay, they're running a little bit wide coming off the left-hander, and now, right-hander, sorry, and now coming up the chicane once more. We've seen Felix try and poke a nose in here every now and then to try and unsettle the cars in front, but uses the engine very well. Of course, Garuda in the background getting ever closer in that V12 advantage. We have to bear in mind that these cars, while they are BOP, they do have their strengths and weaknesses, and one of the big strengths of that Aston is the straight line speed. This was coming up next, Chris, a big old straight.
Yeah, that quick section with the chicane of death, as you call it, seems if you make a mistake, as McCabe comes into the pits,
this could be a masterstroke. He's going to go on a soft tyre. He's going to undercut everyone.
Right. Well, that's an interesting decision then, but he's got a lot of laps to go on it, so brave, but could be a decision that puts him into the World Finals. Who knows? Let's wait and see. As Pounder's come into the pits as well, he's going to switch over to the medium tyre, so now 4 drivers becomes 3, and that's good news for the man at the back of the pack, Jace Garuda. One less car to overtake if he wants to go into the Worlds.
Okay, but these all the drivers that have only made 1 stop still need to make 1 more pit stop and use that other compound tyre they may not have used yet. Garuda, I think, has the soft tyre in the bank, so that's a good tyre to be in at the end. And right now he's done a good job closing into the back of his battle, because bear in mind McMillan was a lot further at the field before, and now that the gap has come down and they're both on the soft tyre at the end, so this is effectively the gap now between himself and possibly getting into that World Final. Quick reminder, our top 2 drivers get automatic qualification to the World Finals, where 3rd to 8th go through to the repechage. If you're unfortunate enough to come 9th or 10th, that is your competition over, I'm afraid. But right now we're focusing on Garuda, we're coming on to what will be the 10th lap, and that will be Gomez leading us round. It's been a great race for Gomez so far, just kind of pulled away from the front and not really be bothered by anyone at this point.
It's what we've seen in the first 2 block finals as well. It seems to be a pattern that is forming in that drop zone you were talking about at the moment, as we'll come back to that, because Felix is looking to the outside of McMillan, and he's going to be ahead going into the corner, but McMillan having the inside line, I think, should take that place back, and does. But Felix hasn't really been able to pull off moves so far in this race, as into the pits comes both McMillan, Felix, and also Garuda. Now we'll see if that undercut has worked.
That's really interesting, well, because Gomez has not come in. He's staying out there on the hard compound tyre, and everyone on the soft tyre is going to be lapping a lot faster right now. Let's see where McCabe is. Let's see where he comes out. Here's Agacan.
That's Agacan, yeah, and McCabe is there.
There he goes. McCabe
so yes,
goes through.
it's worked.
The undercut has worked, but the tyre will be worse towards the end of the race. He gets past Bayliss, who's now up into 4th position. Everybody else in front of him needs to pit. So this is great for McCabe, but now his main rival is going to be Gomez. But as it stands, I think when all pit stops are said and done, he will be in 2nd place.
Yes, so McCabe, brilliant stuff there. Undercut has worked. What would have been, I mean, of course, I think it would have been the undercut, but how difficult is it to make a decision like that during a race, Jimmy?
Oh, you have to just do it on the fly. There isn't really much for you. Go right, I'm pitting this lap, in I come, and then you just hope for the best. Of course, McCabe right now, while he does have the speed at this point of the race, when we get to the last lap, he really will be struggling on those soft tyres. It's going to be all over the place. And if anyone is close to him behind, that could be enough to distract him or to throw it up the inside, and he can quite easily go from 1st to perhaps outside of the top 2 on the last lap.
Well, look at this. We've got Bayliss, McMillan versus Felix as well. Oh, and McMillan sliding on the exit there, and Bayliss, easy as you like, I believe there, just going to slot into 5th place.
That's not good for
as they make their way through the chicane of death. So Bayliss into 5th, McMillan 6th, Felix 7th.
He will Gomez pit this lap, but he must surely come in this lap on those hard tyres. And McMillan goes back to the inside of Bayliss. He needs to be ahead. He needs to start chasing down McCabe, and Gomez does come into the pit lane. So let's see if McCabe has actually got the ultimate undercut and got both of them. I don't think he will do. I think that Gomez will still have a lead, but he would have come down slightly. So here comes McCabe then coming over the start finish line. Where is Gomez? Gomez comes out of pit lane, and McCabe goes up into the lead. So the undercut has worked, but now he has to try and treat these tyres nicely to the end of the race. Otherwise, he's going to find himself with very worn softs. Gomez,
but Gomez under pressure.
McMillan through into 2nd place. Gomez just didn't quite have the run out of the pit lane. He's gone down to 6th.
Well, ultimate undercut from McCabe and McMillan and Garuda and Bayliss. They've all gone past the leader. Gomez, his race has absolutely turned on its head here. He's dropping down the field. He may even go around the repechage out of this race.
What happened?
Well, it was an instant, wasn't it? Let's see. It was just him running wide. hard. Oh, and he spun.
Oh,
and he took
no.
Felix out. Oh, no.
No, that is absolute disaster for Gomez. He was being dominant up until this point, and then forced to race with others. It seemed that he just got his braking wrong coming into the chicane. Cold tyres, of course, and then that was it. So now he is down in 8th position. So he's now fighting for survival, whereas before he was going through the finals. And speaking of fighting, Skaruda, Bayliss, and Felix all together coming now into the last section. Of course, these guys all on the soft tyre, and Skaruda, I think, is definitely the winner here. He's up into 3rd. He was 7th before this all started.
Yeah, but unless they're in 2nd, it doesn't really matter. Skaruda is quickest in the was quickest when all 30 drivers qualified for the repechage, so he'll go off the front for that race. But really, he's going to want to go through into the World Finals. He can see McMillan ahead, but the last lap board is being prepared on the start-finish straight, and McCabe is going to be the driver to take it first as he comes across the line. Then, what a fantastic strategical race from McCabe. He is now got a lead of 1.2 seconds over McMillan. Then is Skaruda, Felix, Bayliss, Castro, Pounder, Gomez. So 3rd to 8th all going into the repechage at the moment. In the drop zone, Aga Khan and Solus.
You have to think about McCabe's tyres. Surely they must be suffering by this point. 1.2 seconds is a gap, but if those soft tyres fall off, that gap will come down very quickly indeed. It is coming down just over a second now between himself and McMillan. Of course, just to reiterate, we have in 1st place our manufacturer's champion from the World Tour at Salzburg. 2nd place, we have a GT Academy champion, an ex-teammate of Lucas Ordonez himself up here in the Spanish booth. So what a battle we have on track right now, and with Skaruda and Felix seemingly going to be the ones to come 3rd and 4th, and they're still battling strong, Chris. They should really be trying to work together and pick up any pieces if something goes wrong at the front.
Yeah, I think that time is gone though. Really, they want to be in 3rd in case something does happen to the 2 ahead, and Felix flashing his lights, looking to the outside. In fact, that will become the inside, as Felix there trying to get the run as they make this drop downhill. But good driving there from Skaruda, able to hold on round the outside. What about our leaders? It's closing up between McCabe and McMillan as they approach the final corner through that chicane. McMillan has got an almighty run. Oh, Felix into the barriers briefly, and there's only 4 tenths between the leaders.
The soft tyres have gone off them for McCabe. He's really struggling in this last corner. McMillan all over the back of him. The gap has come down by a second in the last lap alone. It's going to be a drag to the line. McMillan does have the traction there with the Beetle, but I think it's just going to be McCabe. Here we go into the line. The gap's still coming down. There's less than 100 between it, and it's McCabe from McMillan in the US block final. Skaruda comes 3rd with Felix 4th, and it'll be Castro, Bayliss, Gomez 5th, 6th and 7th, with 8th being Aga Khan taking the last repechage spot. Gomez, probably the big story of that race, led of course for the majority, had the mistake and only just got through to the repechage, but it was this man McCabe, a great master stroke on the strategy and very well rewarded with the US block race win.
Well, we will see him in the World Finals. Brilliant performance that from McCabe. Strategy was the key there, and he executed it absolutely perfectly. So McCabe is into the World Finals, and he'll be able to fight it out for the Americas Regional Final as well. Then we have McMillan, who's also going to be going into the Worlds, into the repechage. It is Skaruda, Felix, Castro, Bayliss, Gomez, a long-time race leader. Aga Khan got through into the repechage on the very last lap.